What up, world? Um, album review time. I mean, y'all clicked on the video. Y'all know what it is, man. I'm reviewing Eminem's new album, the Marshall Mathers LP 2. Man, off top, like, I'm not a big fan of sequel albums. I mean, it's been done. Jay-Z did the Blueprint 2. I like the Blueprint 2. I like the Blueprint 3. Blueprint 2 catches a lot of hate, and I think over time, Blueprint 3 might be starting to like catch a little hate too. And then Wayne, I mean, you know what I'm saying, look to the side of my head. Carter 2. He did Carter 3, he did Carter 4. I think it's time to put a nail in the Carter coffin. After Carter 2, those were ass. Um, I mean, Lloyd Banks, look to the other side of my head, The Hunger for More 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm surrounded by the hunger for more album covers. I mean, and Hunger for More 2 was not even nowhere near on par with the first one. So, like, I mean, there's hit sequel albums, there's miss sequel albums. I mean, it happens. So going into this new Eminem album, I mean, do you really expect the exact, you know what I'm saying, like the exact same tone, the exact same topics, the exact same point of view that Eminem had 13 years ago? And at the same time, like, a lot of fans feel like since Eminem came back from his hiatus, that his albums have been subpar. Like, my man was asking me about this album like Wednesday, Thursday, you know what I'm saying, like 2 days after it came out. And like, he was asking me like is it better than Relapse and Recovery? And I told him I fuck with Relapse and Recovery because legitimately, like, I like both of them albums. Like, I don't think either one of them motherfuckers are garbage. Even with all the voices on Relapse, like, I still think for not rapping in like 5 years that Eminem was killing that shit. But then Eminem come back on Recovery and he himself said that he doesn't like Relapse. And Recovery, man, like, Recovery is dope. Like, it's a different style for M. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a motherfucker. I feel like every album, Eminem, Lil Wayne, and Kanye West always change their styles. Kanye West and Lil Wayne are getting worse with every album. But not Eminem. But with that being said, though, I mean, I say he changes his style every album. His flow and his delivery still had a real Recovery feel to it on this shit. Let's just get into the songs, man. Track number 1 is called Bad Guy. And he, like, it's basically a sequel to Stan off of the Marshall Mathers LP. One of his most famous songs ever. I saw in an interview that he said that he thought about hollering at Dido and working with her again for this. But on the track listing, giving Dido a feature credit, I mean, it would have been too obvious. It's from the perspective of Stan's little brother. And he's talking about how he's going to make Eminem pay for how Eminem affected his family and drove Stan to do what he did. And how, like, he drove to Eminem's house. The back door was unlocked. He crept in. He kidnapped Eminem. Eminem is in this dude's trunk. And had talking about his name is like Matthew. Off top, I can't remember what his name is. But he has Eminem's initials, and he says some shit like that. And then, like, the cops are coming. Like it's so fucking dope. And then the beat switches, and this is where the song kind of loses me. Because I can't really... Matthew Mitchell, that's the motherfucker's name. His name is Matthew Mitchell. He's rapping about having the same initials as Eminem, you know what I mean? And, but once the beat switches, it kind of loses focus. Like, Eminem's still spitting. Eminem's still killing it. But I was lost whether he was still rapping from, like, within the story, or if he was still, like, just spitting. Because, There's things that he says where it sounds like he's rapping from a character's point of view, like somebody who used to be a fan of Eminem but now hates Eminem, and he's gonna make Eminem pay for, like, all that was affected from Eminem lyrics and shit. And like this is just a really fucking dope way to start the album. Track number 2 is called Parking Lot, and if you remember the skit from the Marshall Mathers LP. At the very end, right before Criminal, Dr. Dre and Eminem, they was gonna like rob a bank, and Dre is like, yo, M. He said, what? Don't kill nobody. And then he pulls a gun on the bank teller, put the money in the fucking bag, and she's like, no, please don't kill me. He said, thank you. And then Criminal comes in. I mean, it's M skits. Eminem and Ludacris had like the best skits in the early 2000s. But this one is called Parking Lot. And he shoots the teller, and he runs out of the building, and you can hear the car leave, like Dre left him. And then the cop sirens come up, and he's just running. He ends up shooting the dog, and like right when the cops got him surrounded, he says fuck it and just shoots himself. Just, I don't know, like motherfuckers might say like he tried too hard to make it feel like the first album, but by doing a sequel to a song from the first album and then a continuation, a follow up to the skit from the first album, I think that's a really dope way to fucking start the album. Track number 3 is called Rhyme or Reason, and he sampled Time of the Season from the Zombies, and then, you know how it's like time of the season, and for whatever, like y'all know the song, man. I looked it up on YouTube to make sure I had the right shit. And when they say time of the season, he says rhyme or reason, and he's talking about. There's part where he's talking about his dad, because the song says, who's your daddy? And the first time he says, I don't know. And like before the last verse, he says, I don't give a fuck. So like he talks about, like he raps about his daddy issues on that shit. There's a part of the shit where he raps like Yoda. And like he writes his lyrics like as Yoda. Like, you know how Yoda puts the beginning of the sentence at the end and shit? Like some shit Yoda would say, like trust in the force you must, believe in the force you must. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. M raps like that. It's dope as fuck. And like back in my younger days, when my freestyle was on point, you know what I'm saying, with a little marijuana users and shit, I would rap like Bill Clinton. I would rap like Hulk Hogan. Like in the back of the Mystery Machine, man. My AMH brethren know all about that shit, man. Just killing it. And then there's part of this track where he's talking about keeping hip hop alive. And as long as Eminem is releasing albums, man, hip hop will never be dead. Like, as long as Eminem, Jay-Z, and Nas are still releasing new music, man, hip hop will never die. Track number 4 is called So Much Better, and he is rapping to a bitch, to a female, and basically he's saying, I feel so much better if you just drop dead, if you die, whatever. And he's accusing this bitch like, I wasn't at the studio today. What'd you do? Screw Dre? Then you got with Drake and Lupe? Oh, touche. And like that's not what he says, but that's the gist. I mean, it's a good ass track, man. Cause you know, like Eminem through his whole career, he's had, you know, family issues with his chick. He showed his love for his kids, and you don't really know if he's talking about Kim on this song or just like a fictitious chick, or like he's channeling feelings from Kim that like he doesn't fuck with her like that no more, and putting it on wax. It's another solid track. It's another solid motherfucking track. Track number 5 is called Survival. Any video game fan, anybody that watch MTV2 in the middle of the night, her Survival is a single. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it. I initially heard it when they were advertising Call of Duty Ghosts. At first, like I thought it was like real mediocre. Like M was going through the motions with his bars and shit. But now the more I hear it, it's growing on me. Like I like this song now. Track 6 is called Legacy. Shout out to my man Jay Merritt, because he used to go by Legacy. Virginia, what up? But Eminem on the song Legacy is rapping about his childhood. He's rapping about what made him who he was. How like he would get hoed at school, come home, put down some rhymes, and that shit would give him confidence. And anybody that's ever been made to feel lesser than what they really are can relate to this shit, man. Anybody who's ever been bullied can relate to this shit. Track 7 is called Asshole. I can relate to this motherfucker because I'm an asshole. Skylar Grey is on the chorus. And I ain't heard her album. I heard that single with Eminem on it, and Eminem killed that shit. I think he still had his regular brown hair, and like word up. I'm glad Eminem took it back to the bleached blonde dyed hair and shit, motherfucker, because now I don't look like Eminem no more. or B Rabbit, man. Fuck y'all. On Asshole, he spits like just fast as fuck. At the rate he spits his bars, man, it's so fast. Like it's Busta Rhymes break your neck type shit. And he mentions how once he got on, he was rapping no matter what the cost. Like he didn't give a fuck what he said. He didn't give a fuck what nobody thought about what he said. And then like he kind of takes a shot at Asha Rock. And I'm assuming it's for the As I Am track where Asha Rock spelled that shit like as I am, and like how it was like a sneak diss to give a shout out. And at the time Asha Rock came out, like M like embraced this shit and like said he was dope. I wonder now, does he like not fuck with Asha Rock? Like does he, you know what I'm saying, has his feeling changed towards Asha Rock and shit? Like I didn't really take it as Asha Rock dissing him, but I guess if he took it like Asha Rock was talking about, I'm me, I'm not trying to sound like Eminem, I don't want to sound like Eminem, you know what I'm saying? Maybe M took offense. Track 8 is called Berserk. This was the first single, Rick Rubin in the video. Another song I'm not going to spend too much time on because everybody's heard it. It's got a real old school feel to it. Rick Rubin made the beat. Just like Survival, like when I first heard this shit, like it was different, you know what I'm saying? Like not like Not Afraid different. And it wasn't like M's previous first singles. Like all of M's previous singles been like some sophomoric, just real clowning type shit. But this was like a mix, you know what I'm saying? Like it was a clowning single, but at the same time, it was more serious than the other shit that he's dropped his first single as. But like just the bars and like the vibe of the song, like at first I wasn't feeling it, but now that I have the album, now that I've played it more and more, like it's another song that I like now, and the shit is growing on me. Track 9 is called Rap God, and this is a single too. But the video's not out, so I don't know how many motherfuckers have really heard it. Cause I mean, I don't listen to the radio, so I don't know how many motherfuckers listen to the radio. He spits really fast again. You have to listen closely to catch everything he's saying. But he touches on like his influences, like Run DMC, how he got to meet them and induct them into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, how he was driving around in the whip, growing up, bumping NWA. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. A lot of comments, like when Love Game first came out, was released or leaked or whatever with Kendrick Lamar, I saw comments talking about like it's some of the worst shit that people ever heard, and like motherfuckers was hating. And M touches on how he can still make rap records, he can still make hip hop, and that shit appeals to everybody. Like not many artists can cross over today like Eminem can and have so much longevity. While he's spitting real fast, like he's just showing off his skill, how he can just spit just so fast. Like the cadence in this motherfucking track is insane. And it makes sense. Like he's just not throwing rhymes together to get a verse out. Like what he's talking, you know what I'm saying? Like he has some shit to say. Track 10 is called Brainless. And at the beginning of this track, they use a soundbite from Superbad where the cops are interviewing the liquor store chick, and how she's talking about how the dude who robbed the store looked like Eminem and shit. Yeah, y'all seen Superbad, y'all know what I'm talking about, man. So I thought that shit was cool. And the song, man, is more or less talking about like growing up. Like he wasn't really pushed to succeed. Like he was told how if he had a brain, he'd be dangerous and shit. And then he gonna get famous and become a pain in the anus. And like how he was basically put down growing up, and he just flipped all that shit and let it motivate him to become what he is. And it's another solid track, man. Cause this is another track that everybody can relate to. Like especially if you weren't encouraged growing up, man. If you were just put down growing up and motherfuckers didn't really like fuel your ambitions and shit. Track 11 is called Stronger Than I Was, and this is a track like M's not really rapping, he's not really singing. Like he's more vocal, so I guess he's singing on the motherfucker. But it's like it's not like Haley's song off the Eminem show. It's different, but yeah, he's more or less singing this shit, and he's talking about that he doesn't need motherfuckers who don't want him, that he can still tell a motherfucker fuck you and be humble and shit. And like I don't know, like Eminem is a motherfucker, like I said in the Action Bronson review, he can slap rhymes together random as fuck and still drop a dope ass verse. But throughout this album, like it's like underlying messages and underlying topics and shit, no matter what he's talking about. My question on this song, like if anybody know, man, let me know. Is this song like a continuation of 25 to Life? Like deep down, is he rapping about hip hop? Or is this another song where he could more or less like be rapping about Kim or like just motherfuckers in the past who have dissed him and shit? Track number 12 is called The Monster. And this has Rihanna on the chorus. It's been released to radio. I don't think it has a video. But once again, like I said, he got up with Rihanna for the chorus. And he said in an interview that he got Rihanna on this shit. He's like, as soon as he heard the beat, he heard Rihanna on the hook. And how they both have like the public perception of being a little loony. He talks about how fame affected his life. He talks about how he is perceived as crazy and kind of like how fame kind of made him like that. And like he kind of alludes to like Slim Shady being the monster in his head. And Rihanna on the chorus is talking about I'm friends with the monster under my bed with the I talk to the voices in my head and shit. Like, hey, real talk, man. I converse with myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have conversations with myself. Maybe my motherfucking ass is crazy. So, like, I feel this shit. But while I feel this shit, I do like Love the Way You Lie better than this. Maybe this will grow on me more. But, like I said, while it's a strong song, Rihanna's on it, it's a radio jam, I just feel, not really relate to, but I just feel Love the Way You Lie more than this. Track 13 is called So Far. And whoever made the beat, I don't have production credits handy. Whoever made the beat sampled Joe Walsh's Life Has Been Good. And what he say, like, I got a mansion, but I sleep on the couch or some shit like that. It kind of reminded me of 8 Mile when him and Future were doing that Sweet Home Alabama shit, that you live at home in a trailer, you know, that shit. And then Michael Shannon come out. Hey, Michael Shannon has come a long fucking way since 8 Mile, man. Boardwalk Empire, Man of Steel and shit like that. The Iceman. There's parts on here where he's rapping about like taking a shit in public and somebody try to get his autograph while he's taking a shit, and like he wipes his ass with the napkin. And then he's also talking about his loyalty to Detroit and why he never left and shit. Track 14 is called Love Game. I mentioned this song earlier. It's him and Kendrick Lamar. I think the song sampled in this shit was called Love Is a Game. Don't fucking put that in stone, because off top I don't know. With him, Eminem, and Kendrick Lamar, they both basically rapping about bitches who don't really want them. And if I'm not mistaken, man, Kendrick is rapping about Shireen, who was mentioned in Good Kid, Mad City. And like M doesn't really give a name to his chick. But it's another solid track, another solid beat. Track 15 is called Headlights. And this is by far the realest, deepest, most personal song on the entire album. This shit is low-key even sad, man. Cause he's talking about his mom. He's talking about their relationship throughout Eminem's whole career. Like, he's shit on his mom at least one time every album. But like, he's talking about how he regrets that shit. How he'll never ever play Cleaning Out My Closet again. Like, at the time, he may have been justified in making that shit, but he'll never perform it again. He don't like hearing that shit on the radio. He regrets his mom not seeing his kids growing up. And like how the one time that she met Eminem's daughters, that they were on their way to get some dinner, and like he saw her headlights, the title of the track, in his rearview mirror. And like Nate Ruiz, I think, is the dude on the chorus, and man, he fit this beat perfect. And like Eminem like might not have to might not ever talk shit about his mom again, man. I don't know, somebody might fucking like pick up the torch and carry on that legacy. Anybody with family issues like might fucking like feel this shit. I mean, it's a good song, man. Like he gets real deep and real personal on this shit. Talking about how like they may never reconcile, like they still estranged, but like they might never ever like be in the same room again. but he just, you know what I'm saying, wants to know that he just wants his mom to know that like everything is cool, like, you know what I'm saying, he's sorry and he forgives her. Track 16, the last track, is called Evil Twin. And man, this is really just more Eminem showing off, man. He calls out a lot of like pop artists, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Christina Aguilera, Jessica Alba, Jessica Simpson. He name drops Heath Ledger. There's a line where he says that he goes back and he listens to all his old shit so he can keep up with his competition. I thought that was dope as hell. There's another line where he says, maybe I am a little nuts because who likes a plain Eminem? And like obviously Slim Shady is Eminem's evil twin. That was understood. This beat is cold as fuck. I mean, that's it for every song. That's it. Like I got the standard edition. Like as I've said in many reviews before, I just don't fuck with deluxe editions. If it was meant to be on the album, it would be on the album, not on a bonus disc. Where do I begin, man? Like lyrically, this album is amazing. Just the way that Eminem can bend a word and make it rhyme, and the way that his rhyme schemes are formatted, like man, like I just this shit damn near blows my mind. The production is solid. I think Eminem co-produced a lot of these beats. Rick Rubin made like 2 or 3. Off top, I can't think of every producer. Kendrick killed it. Everybody on the choruses, Skylar Grey, Rihanna, Nate Ruiz, they all fit their beats to a T. The knocks, the things that I would have liked to have happened on this album, I would have liked at least one Dr. Dre beat. This is the first album that like Dre really didn't do shit on, and his name is on the back of the CD case as an executive producer just because him is signed to Aftermath. I would have liked to see features from Shady Records, Aftermath Records, G Unit Records artists. I mean, not even Royce, man. Like Royce was sampled on Evil Twin. Give Crooked Eye a verse, man. Give Joel Ortiz a verse. Lloyd Banks, man. Kendrick is the only Aftermath artist on this shit. I mean, I would have done like a 10-minute track, man. I would have had Eminem on that shit. Clearly, his album. If I was M, I would have had one verse and then one 8-bar verse. I would have split 2 verses up between the 4 Slaughterhouse members. I would have split a verse between 50 Cent and Tony Yayo. I would have gave Lloyd Banks his own verse, and then the other 8 bars to go with Eminem verse, I would have gave to Yellow Wolf. On a Dre beat. So as you can tell, I didn't complain about shit, except those features. To me, the Marshall Mathers LP 2 is diggity dope. I was close to just giving it a dope, but man, when I was listening to that shit, taking notes for my motherfucking review, it's just like I said before, man, this shit just blew my mind, man. This, in my opinion, this is his best album since the Eminem Show. My question to y'all: what's your favorite song on this album? If you can pick one, because I love every track, and I want to know, what is your favorite album since he's came back? Relapse, Recovery, Marshall Mathers LP 2. And I hope he does this shit like he did on when he first came back. In 2009 he dropped an album, 2010 he dropped an album. And then he did Bad Meets Evil, and now he's doing this. 2013 he dropped, so I hope he drops an album next year. It'll probably be 4th quarter. But I hope he's back. I hope he's already back in the studio recording for his next shit. I'm gonna drop raps of my own. I know I've been saying that shit. And after I drop raps of my own, like the only thing that might be on the horizon is raps of my own, because for like 2 weeks ain't no movies coming out. And like, just as I always say, man, hit me up: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. That's it for me, man. Peace.